Well, with this Lanza Martini team, you can't, accept anything else than to win.
It's crazy. Even everything is going very well, but if I had troubles, I'm for sure I'm completely finished.
Henri e Sergio sono usciti, la macchina ha preso fuoco, bloccate tutte le partenze, Guarda Tiziano, avanti, sto arrivando a Pontelezza. Guarda subito i pompieri, avanti che vengono i pompieri. Avvertire i pompieri subito, mandare i pompieri subito.
Ma sono già a Pontelezza.
Henri, la macchina di Henri sta bruciando! Loro dove sono? Sono dentro o fuori la macchina? Ma Tiziano non me lo sa dire, Tiziano da Arnaldo. A tutte le squadre Martini rientrare da ghiaccio.
Henri Toivonen et son coéquipier Sergio Cresto ont rencontré la mort alors qu'ils y étaient venus chercher la gloire. Ça mal, le monde des rallyes pleure ses deux nouvelles victimes. Quelles que soient les circonstances de l'accident, quelles qu'en soient ses causes, que ce soit Chatriot, Sabi, Fauchy ou moi-même, tout le monde ici souhaite que quelque chose change. La prochaine fois, nous ne viendrons pas, c'est sûr, car ici, la sécurité, c'est...
Personne ne sait vraiment pourquoi la voiture a tiré tout droit dans le fossé qui était juste à cet endroit-là. Donc comme vous pouvez le voir, c'est loin d'être un des endroits les plus dangereux du Tour de Corse ou des rallyes d'une manière générale. Nous voilà à l'endroit précis où la voiture de Toivonen est sortie de la route, donc en sortant de ce virage, de cette courbe assez large. Elle a tapé le parapet qui était plus petit que celui-là puisqu'il a été reconstruit, qui était beaucoup plus bas. Elle a tapé exactement ici et elle est sortie, elle est tombée derrière ce parapet. En tombant là, on pouvait pratiquement la toucher avec les mains. Elle est tombée juste là, elle a été arrêtée par les arbres. Mais elle s'est embrasée apparemment et on peut considérer que c'était un petit peu à cet endroit-là qu'a été signée la fin des groupes B. Il y a eu 2 accidents mortels pendant le Tour de Corse à 1 an d'intervalle, l'accident d'Attilio Bettega et l'accident d'Henri Toivonen. Lorsqu'il y a un accident sur un rallye et lorsqu'il y a un accident mortel, c'est toujours un drame. Et c'est toujours un drame bien sûr pour celui qui en est victime. C'est aussi un drame pour l'organisateur parce que un rallye, ça doit être une fête.
I got some kind of virus in the throat and big fever. I've been 5 days now in the bed. I don't have fever anymore and the throat is more or less good, but of course it had some effect to the condition and all the muscles are blocked now. I don't know, it had some influence also to the back and neck muscles.
Without being flippant about it, this perhaps could be a good omen. I seem to recall you were very ill on the Lombard RAC rally and then you win the rally.
Well, maybe, I hope. I don't mind if it's so. No, I think this rally especially needs a lot of physical condition and I had 4 weeks training on every morning, jogging and making a lot of physical for my physique. And this is of course unfortunate that it happened now like this because I was sure that I will be strong for this.
Eri e Sergio sono usciti, la macchina ha preso fuoco. Bloccate tutte le partenze, bloccate tutte le partenze. Arnaldo Tiziano! Avanti Tiziano, avanti, sto arrivando a Pontelezza! Guarda subito i pompieri, avanti che vengono i pompieri! Avanti che vengono immediatamente i pompieri! Avvertire i pompieri subito, mandare i pompieri subito!
Ma sono già a Pontelezza.
Henri, la macchina di Henri sta bruciando! Loro dove sono? Sono dentro o fuori la macchina? Ma Tiziano non me lo sa dire, Tiziano da Arnaldo. A tutte le squadre Martini rientrare da Iaccio.
Entäs tossa?
Joo, täytyy sanoa, että lapsia tietysti on ikävä ja mä pelkään sitä, että pystynkö mä antaa heille kaiken rakkauteni tai pystynkö mä olemaan oikea isä, koska mä olen 3 viikosta 1,5 kuukauteen pois. Mä tulen takaisin. Mä olen oppinut semmoista tietynlaisen erakon elämän siellä. Mä olen itseni pomo tuolla ulkomailla. Mä tuun kotiin, mun pitäisi yhtäkkiä vaihtaa täysin uusi kasetti päälle ja olla isä, ajatella heitä. Vaimoni Eri on hoitanut kyllä nämä lapset ihan mallikkaasti, että vielä tuntevat minutkin sitten. Ilmeisesti siellä näytellään sitten isän kuvia sen verran usein.
Aha, nyt ne loppu.
Täällä ei ole enää kuvia.
Ei ole enää.
Kato,
Tää on
tässä
Arlan
on
kanssa jo.
tämmöisiä fangikuvia.
Niin on.
I'd say that since we started going on together when he was so young and he had a quite strong father and a strong family. And he didn't have a normal youth, as you know, as usually kids have, that they have the party times when they like to go out to parties and date and so on. Henri missed all of that. He was always practicing driving. Everything was concerned into just competing. And after he had the serious accident, you know, he just had this kind of feeling that all of this has been left behind. And I think he just started to want to, you know, get it back all. He started living like this would be the last day of my life.
You mean just sort of crazy driving, crazy living, or?
No, crazy living and driving, both of them.
What would be crazy living? Like what?
Well, it would be that he didn't always come home when he had the chance to come home, and usually he'd be the first thing at home to see me and the kids. Now, you know, he'd rather stay behind and have a good time with some friends and so on. And when he came home, he'd just throw his bags in and then he'd be off again. In a way, somehow, I feel that I never got a chance to show him or tell him how much I cared for him and loved him. But there's a limit to everything. I mean, we had two great kids, we were well off, Henri was doing what he loved, he was satisfied with it. I had what I loved, Henri and the two kids, well off. I mean, what's there more to ask of?
Sounds like paradise.
It was. That's what I told my mother before Henri's accident, that my life is like being in the seventh heaven. But I wonder what's going to happen one day. I told her that 2 years ago when I had Amy, the youngest one. I said, this is too good to be true. Something's bound to happen someday. And life cannot go on this way.
If you have the smallest technical problem, you will be killed. That was something, if you had no any more space for some mistakes, technical mistakes, or maybe also personal mistakes. And especially if you have an accident on a place which is very easy. It seems it was a technical problem. I don't see any reason why you should make some faults.
It is easily can happen mistake because you do the similar road. In Corsica, it's very slow roads, and all look the same. And you do that from morning till evening, and that is maybe too much.
Not a place where an experienced driver would go up, because it was a very dangerous corner. It wasn't particularly quick, and all the drivers had problems with that corner.
They physically abuse you in somewhere like Corsica, where the cornering loads are high and the corners come up so very quickly that unless you're extremely well supported in your seat and your belts, if you have to use your arms or your legs to brace yourself, at the end of 17 or 20 minutes, you really feel tired.
Well, the first reaction is that you would like to stop everything and change, maybe work in a bank or whatever, I don't know, and never have something to do with motorsport anymore. But then you realize that you have to live with it, and you continue. But of course, the battle you do to get this sport more safe, you do it with much more hardness and with much more influence if you can. In more, with Henri, it was we had a very special feeling between the driver and the team manager, and we worked quite well together. In fact, I knew his family from many, many years. His father, Pauli, had been driving for me already 20 years ago. So it was very sad moment for all the team and for me personally. Motorsport is a dangerous sport that you can't forget that it is a dangerous sport. Whatever you will reduce the speed, reduce the performance, reduce the speed of the stage, shorten the rallies, but it remains a dangerous sport. The only thing we try to achieve is to have one Lancia or maybe two Lancias in front of everybody. This is our main target.
I'm afraid that for these people, sport is nothing. It's just business. Very hard business, and everything is right to get success, but success not in sport, success in business. And even believe it now here, they don't make sport because I like to drive a car. It's okay. They just use me like a spare part. As long as this part is good, it's good. If it's not good, they change this part.
A lot of thrill sports, what could be called thrill sports, I believe. The reason that people are taking all those chances in those kinds of sports, taking those risks, is because they need the risk. They need to take these chances.
If you don't say it, I don't realize it. It's a risk. I forget it always.
It'd be different to be driving around in those cars. I mean, now you see the cars, we've gone back to a more sensible regulation with cars that are drivable, so to say. And if we still talk about rallies, if you see the cars they were driving last year and the speeds, I've been going in those cars, and I trust the driver, but it's very impressive. You gotta have something.
Uncertainty, variety, novelty, change, risk, intensity. They like intense experiences.
They get excitement. They, especially now when the cars have gone back to something I would say normal, where you see this car on the road and you say, hey, I can go buy that one. It looks like the car I have at home. And you see the speed, you see the way these guys drive. They come sliding through the corners and they pick the car up and they just accelerate. You get a feeling of speed, of excitement, and I think it's great.
Group B cars had become really dangerous, and I was the first big manufacturer who supported the FISA to ban these cars and go back to standard cars.
Maximum of pressure. We never have a pressure in another factory like they have.
Well, I think a driver sits in a car to try to win the event, and therefore he never complains because his car is too quick. Eventually they could complain because the car was not quick enough. And of course, we as technicians, we were trying to give him the better opportunity of winning the event within the frame of the regulation.
The most top drivers, which has been killed in the last 10 years, they have been on the same factory. And it means, it seems that one factory, the price of winning is much higher than in another one. I never was thinking on money 10 years ago when I started. It was just, for me, I want to know for myself if I am a dreamer or if I am really the best. And nobody in our family was ever pushing me to make motorsports. And my brother, which was 10 years older than me, he was my idol. He was a fantastic skier, he was a fantastic car driver. And
he's older than you?
He was 10 years older than me, and just in 1965 he died on an accident on the road. It was just the time when I started to drive a car. And you can imagine how my family was fighting against this thing. And I have done rallies for 2 years without telling anybody in my family that I have done it.
Did you go in a false name?
Yes, and then finally, luckily, I retired always. I never get to finish line, and nobody knows. But then after 2 years I was winning some rallies, and I was always telling I go to spectate, never to drive by myself. Then I have to tell them, okay, I tried once, it was first time, but I have done it already 3 years longer. But you can imagine how and every time when I left for a rally, my mother, it was like she will see me last time in security and without destroying this feeling for spectators. If on a proper special stage of rally driving, where we say as pilots they have to stay 10 meters away, I'm sure from 10 meters away it's not anymore so interesting. Finally, I think big crowds, they're waiting for accidents. That can be, that's right. But I would say it's maybe also different from country to country. In some countries, I understand more from rally driving than in another one. But if you have accidents like this, for sure, people which are not really interested in motorsports, they just think, it's some big accident, let's go to watch. But we don't need this publicity. The price is too high.
He could be extremely difficult, I must say, to be with at times.
In what way?
Yeah, I mean, you could decide to start practice in the morning at 8 o'clock and Henry could turn up at 11. But similarly, you could arrange the practice at 8 o'clock, and if you as the co-driver should come down at 5 past and Henry had been there at 5:02, he could be very upset about it. And on the other hand, I think we had quite a supportive relationship with him, in that he would often call and ask advice about this or that. And in a way, we got on very well together, socially and most of the time in the car. But I often feel that if I knew now, or if I had known then what I know now, it could have been a much more productive partnership. With the experience of today and Henry's talent then, it could have been something special. I think from the first day I had driven with him, he had always said that he wanted to drive for Lancia, and of course Pauli had driven for Lancia, and Cesare Fiorio was always very friendly, shall we say, with Henry. And
we started to say, okay, we want to have all the champion, because we wanted to make, a race with all the world champion on equal material, and we started like this normally to make the list of the world champion. And I don't know why, but spontaneously, the name of Henri came, and automatically it was like a flash for us. I said, if I mention him in the list like that, it's for us it was he should have been a champion for sure this year, and we thought it was good to dedicate this race to him, because it was so recent.
And we used to go out and have a drink and stuff thing. And then he always said, I really, really want to get back into single-seater racing. And then one day, because I'd been a teammate of Stefan Johansson's in 78, 79, Formula 3, Formula 2, when I was a driver. And then Stefan and I always were good friends, and it turned out that Stefan and Henri had been good friends together in karting in the mid-70s. And just the relationship seemed to grow from nothing, because Henri was so easy to like. And anyway, we decided one day, it was towards the end of the season, we'd had a particularly good season. We'd won some races, so there was the opportunity, one car available, and we did one race at Silverstone. And in fact, I think we started by the first race at Thruxton, which was his first race, and we could not believe it. He finished third in his first ever race. And then we came to Silverstone for the last race of the year, and he won it. And that was the nature. He had this such unbelievable natural talent. And the charisma and the style of the person was so infectious that you automatically knew he was going to be a big star. And of course he was, well, certainly for me. In '82 we ran Senna, and quite honestly he was very special straight away. That was the first time he ever drove in Formula 3, was with us. And it was a similar type of feeling with Henri. You can feel it, this commanding position, this total confidence, this knowledge of their own belief, that here was somebody who really knew what they were doing, even though they had no experience in single-seaters. They've been in the rally program for such a long time. So I suppose to say, I don't want to build it up too high. I want to try to be very careful about my assessment. But I have to say truthfully that had he gone on a Grand Prix style route instead of the rally program, nobody knows how good he could have been, other than the fact that he certainly would have been a Grand Prix winner. But to be a continual world champion would have been something that you also need some great amount of luck. And in hindsight, I'm not sure if he had all the luck.
It's incredible. You know, if you have, let's say, 70 meters, the stage, that's nothing when you're coming from the corner. It's there, like that, the next corner. 70 meters was long time, you know, some few years ago. Now it's nothing.
Kumpi minulla kertoo sitten, miten se rengashomma selvii? Mä oon joskus laskenut aikoinaan joku aika ennen kuin lopetin aktiivikauden, niin silloin tuli 6500. Niitä on joku tullut lisää. En tiedä montako. Täällä on ensimmäinen Henrin autoilukuva. Ei se nyt tietysti mikään aivan huippumalli on, mutta silloin kyllä ihan kelpas ajokiksi.
No niin, tää kai on sitten
joku kilpailu. Henri niin kuin itse aloittelemassa omaa auraansa.
Tää on kai sitten se ensimmäinen.
Joo, tää on sitten ensimmäinen tehdassopimus. Niin 23 kai hän oli silloin sinä vuonna, kun hän voitti muistaakseni.
Tai 24, mä menen jo sekaisin näissä vuosissa.
Mut silloin niin Henristä tuli niin kuin ammattilainen.
Joo. Silloin hän ajoi ammattilaisena sen vuoden, joo. Tämä on Henri kunniaksi Italiassa tai muistoksi pidetty kilpailu, joka ajettiin viime vuonna ensimmäisen kerran ja ajetaan taas tänä vuonna uudelleen.
Because Henry, like I said, he was the winner type. He'd do it. He'd do anything to win.
So, what was the problem that you rolled the car?
Well, you know, it's this bloody Toivonen didn't want to drive at all, so I had to drive and read the road book and take the times and everything, and it was too much work. I only have 3 hands, so I can't do everything. So we go after a big accident, you know, but I am very, very lucky man, you know. 3 minutes off-road, but, you know, car completely destroyed. I rebuilt completely. Kiki me rebuilt completely car, 2 minutes max.
Do you speak always so much?
Always so much.
Who is now second, of course, after me. So how do you feel that this Toivonen is so fast?
Toivonen is been a little bit lucky today, but tomorrow it's no problem for us. It's only 1 minute, so.
Have you had any problems with your car?
Not really, only between seat and driving wheel. That's all.
Well, but that's quite normal for you, isn't it?
Yeah, but we will change it tomorrow, so then it will.
You mean the driver?
Yes.
Ah, okay. So Juha Kankkunen sits on the co-driver's seat and Piironen starts to drive?
Yes, something like that.
So, okay, I have to change also my place then.
I think so.
Okay, good luck for you.
Thank you, same to you.
In Ireland, during the rest hold, my left foot decided to go for disco dancing while I was sleeping, and it was too much for it. Soin Salonin puolella.
you.